Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Huddersfield Town Podcast Sunday Social, where we can all gather for a good old chinwag on all things Huddersfield Town. This week we've seen a fancy new front of shirt sponsor in Hey Dude. Acu, no, I've just sneezed. It's our new stadium sponsor name until at least 2030. And we finally unveiled our new home kit, a commemoration of the centenary of the club's greatest ever achievement on becoming thrice champions. A certain group of people took straight to social media to message Kevin and co, venting the frustration on the new kit, saying they didn't like the shade of blue. The stripes were a few centimetres too wide and the gold badge didn't quite contrast enough with the white background. They're called virgins. Like my wife always says to me, it's not the equipment you've got, it's how you use it. Unfortunately, the lads didn't play very well in the kit either, did they? Going down 3-1 at non-league Emley AFC. The sun was shining, the fans were singing, and the football was shite. Yes, the goals were conceded by the B team at the end, but that didn't stop a good old-fashioned meltdown on social media, did it, with the panic buttons being pressed? What do you guys think? Are you guys worried already, or are we shaping up nicely still for the season ahead? My name's Nick Barlow. I'll be your host for this evening, and joining me is football podcasting's answer to Waldorf and Statler. It's Gaz K and Andy K. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us, as always. Thank you so much, guys, for your comments already. I'm sorry we're a little bit late. This, as I say, it's Sunday Socials, really, so it's all about you guys. We're going to be talking. We've got a vague agenda there, but really it's going to be kind of led by you guys and your questions. Let's talk about what you guys want. It's not just about us, is it? So, but I think, guys, what we should start on before we get into the Emley game is the new sponsors. So we'll start with Hey Dude. It's part of the Crocs company, and it's supposedly well known for its casual footwear. I can't say I've really heard of it, although I did notice Sydney Sweeney doing some modelling, which aroused my interest. But yeah, I mean, it's principal partner for the next 3 seasons. Largest commercial deal to be signed outside of the Premier League, which I think is a credit to those involved with that. Guys, I mean, it's a new sponsor. It's obviously bringing in some decent money. What are your thoughts on it, Gaz?
Looks like a good one, doesn't it? I think. I mean, I'd not heard of Hey Dude, but I'm not entirely sure I'm their target audience. When I saw the news, I had a quick look, and they're 25% of Crocs turnover. Crocs turn over $4 billion a year, and that Hey Dude turns over $1 billion a year. And Crocs Group last year made $1 billion. So, this isn't Ryan's newsagent or Central Garage Murfield anymore, is it? We're into decent big boys here. And obviously I saw on social media that Fraser Campbell's uncle, who's been advising Kev, he's a non-exec at Crocs. So clearly they managed to advise somebody to splash the cash on a sponsorship. I think it's a really good one. I saw people moaning about the shape of the badge and the logo, and I think that's more to do with the Castor shirts than. Is it Castor? Is it Castor?
Castor's more Yorkshire, isn't it? Castor.
Yeah. I think it's more to do with the shirt than the branding, but it looks on the face of it like a really strong partnership. They've clearly got some money to spend, haven't they? Trying to get the brand going in the UK. They've decided we're a mechanism to do that.
Michael Bottomley, hello to you, mate. Rivet Head, as always, really good to see you. Dean Ball, Paul Tyndall, Woody Hood, Stephen Shepherd, CWCW. Thank you for joining us, guys. We'll get round to some of your comments and questions. I mean, a lot of these are kind of related to Emley, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Andy's the only one of the 3 of us that went. I'll say that now. We're not the real fans. Only Andy's the hardcore. So yeah, so you could tell us all about it. But Andy, let's talk about the new stadium sponsor then, mate, because again, it's not a company that I've heard of before, but it's a local company, obviously doing well. They supply, I believe, engineering components, and it's grown from a small office into this big unit in Honley. And it looks like the sort of thing that's going to be good for the club. It's a local company. working together to invest back in local community. The deal's going to run till 2030, so it's a decent deal there. What do you think, mate? I mean, some I saw the usual comments that trying to make fun of it. I know I made a bit of fun of it there with the ACU or ACU or whatever it is, but I mean, you could do that for any name. It's certainly not Tough Sheet standards anyway. But I think for the club, I think it's decent, mate, isn't it? It's nice community based.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what you want.
Yeah, I like the fact. The one thing that's been missing a lot the last couple of seasons is a Huddersfield connection. So I was worried at the end of last season that we were going to start to lose, a lot of Huddersfield from within the club. So to have that sponsorship from a local company that's obviously doing well, very impressive. A couple of things on. Just thank the guys for being like our Martin Lewis of the podcast with all his financials there. Very impressive. He'll be having a live show on Thursday nights at 8:00. And as for him not being a target market, a man who owns a yacht like he does absolutely needs to have the boat shoes that they deliver. It feels, once you work out how to pronounce it, because I've pronounced it several different ways, I think we'll be good. I like the video that was put out. We're very professional. That's what jumping ahead, but a lot of the stuff that's come out of the club communications recently have been very, very impressive, and I like the standard of the video. Now, whether they did it themselves, ACU, I think it's ACU, isn't it? Then that says something for me. So yeah, and if it's a good deal, fantastic. I think we're going to need to monetize a lot of the things that maybe we've not been so good at if we're going to start to get back to where we want to get to. So more power to Mr. Reeves and the rest of the team's elbows in getting a couple of good deals apparently across the line.
Guys, I read on the website the club said they'll both invest in the community through something called education-led STEM. That's science, technology, engineering, and maths outreach programs. There'll be many different community development initiatives which the club are very good at anyway. And it also says enhanced match day experiences and fan engagement activities, which I'm not really sure what that'll be. But it's nice to see, isn't it, that they're not just thinking about the sponsorship. There's other things involved, mate, as well, isn't there? Behind the scenes and different projects, and it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and Andy's right, really. The fact that ACU is a local firm, clearly enjoyed some growth in the last few years. When you look at, they've come from nowhere. I don't know if you've seen that place they've got at the side of the road in Emley there. It's absolutely enormous, and they own a few, they own Raw Plug, they own brands you'll have heard of. So they're a big business, and also I went looking on their website, and the partnership with Kirkwood Hospice, which is is a charity that's been close to the club site in the past as well, isn't it? So yeah, it's nice to see, and I think that's although we've been very critical of the club over the last few years, the one thing that has been fairly consistent is a continuing attempt to engage the fans and the fan community, and that sometimes gets a bit of derision. But it's good we're going to have sponsors hopefully who will align with that and chuck a bit of money at it.
Yeah, Mark Harrison's said, I wonder how the revenue from the ACU sponsorship gets divided out with the stadium ownership in a state of flux. And I guess there's a lot of things going on. It's never easy. Is it? It's never simple, is it?
It's a really good question. Yeah,
with this club.
Not. Well, I'm sure Kev will have dealt with it in his usual Nagel fashion. But yeah, it's a great point. I hadn't thought of that myself. You'd presume that. I don't know how it works. Who decides what it's called? I would assume that has to be the owners of the stadium. So, KDSL,
I was assuming contracts with KDSL.
Yeah.
So whoever owns KDSL will then get the benefit or whatever it is of the ongoing sponsorship. But it's clear Town have driven it and found it and engaged it. So it probably tells you what you need to know about who's going to get the benefit.
Yeah.
And Davey.
Yeah. Ken Davey takes 90% of all profits. Yeah.
Mr. Burns.
I don't know. Stephen Shepherd says fair play to Jake on this one. I mean, he's come in for quite a lot of stick, hasn't he? Jake Edwards behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's his
yeah.
job, innit, Andy, to do things like this. Really, he's the contracts guy. He's to sort all these things out rather than the football. So I know he obviously has a hand in player contracts things, but this is what he's been brought in for. So I think we've got to give praise where it's due, haven't we? Biggest deal outside the Premier League. That's got to be something in League One, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, and the commercial team have been stretched quite thinly there from my very, very tiny dealings with them when I've done my shirt stuff. They absolutely graft those people, but to get somebody with the contacts that Jake Edwards has got, would imagine, then it's good. I don't think it's been involved in before. Feels like a little bit that he's stepped up a little bit over the last 3 or 4 months. It's pretty clear to me anyway from conversations that we've had and what have you that he's acting almost as the director of football. Like you say, he's signing players, he's negotiating contracts. That's a step up from having to deal with legalese. I think maybe the issue with the stadium, as there's only so much he can do. I went to a business breakfast that they had at town, and he was talking about he didn't realise how much time he was going to spend, working on title deeds and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of stuff that he's had to do that's possibly got in the way of him doing this type of stuff. So I think he's certainly stepped up to the plate. Whether he's faithful for what happened to Mark Cartwright might happen to him, don't know. He isn't operating in a state of fear. I'm sure he isn't, but he's. It looks to have stepped up. So, and that's what I think. Overall, it feels like there's been an element of uplift. Before we came on, I'm thinking about about some of the stuff that has come out of the club. That unrestricted access, the first episode of that was really well put together. I loved the launch video for the shirt. I really, really loved that. 1908 club looks very, very impressive. I've not been in it, but it looks really nice. You see it in the background, don't you? Like Lee Grant's interviews and stuff like that. I think we're going to come on to the Emley game, but I think the signings that we saw play yesterday are an uplift on what we had last year. So I think there are some real good signs at the club. You just wish that we could sort the stadium out and it to be entirely ours, and then we could go even further from there. But yeah, big tick next to Mr. Edwards at the minute for me. I think he's doing well.
Yeah. Connor says the media produced by a club certainly being much glossier and professional, and it's nice to see. They're doing the right things, aren't they? I don't think anyone can sit here and criticise what the team are doing in terms of media presence, in terms of in creating all the foundations of a well-run club. It's just the real frustrating thing has just been what we've seen on the pitch, hasn't it? That's where it just hasn't married in. We're seeing developments to the hospitality and the fan bar, the sports bar, which has been really well received. And it certainly looks a lot more professional. I'm looking forward to seeing more of them little mini documentary episodes. I just hope they stick with them all the way through this time. But yeah, it's really nice to see the club doing things like this. But it's at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to what we see on the Saturday afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if that doesn't get any better, all of this is for nothing in a way.
I have got someone to criticise, and that's Jake Edwards' weird mid-Atlantic. What's his accent all about? He's gone full on Alex Turner out of the Arctic Monkeys, hasn't he, with his accent? Bless you.
I can't say anything about accents because half the people can't understand me around here, so I'm not going to have a go at anybody for their accent. Yeah. Joe here says the stadium. I am putting the comments down there as well, guys. But if you can't read them, I'll put some up here as well because the writing's a bit bigger. But Joe Canaston says 100% agree. Stadium looks miles better and socials, etc. Yeah, just the 11 men on the pitch ruined it last season, and that's why it's such a shame. And that's why we're hoping this season it's gonna come on. Mark Harrison's asked if they're redeveloping the rope walk for the shop or refurbishing the existing. Now, I had heard they were going to do a shop in there, but I'm not sure, guys, actually. It seems to have gone quiet since.
Have they bought it? Kev was talking about buying it, wasn't he? About buying
I think they have. I think they have. I could be wrong. I think so. I thought I'd read that they bought it and they were going to turn it into a superstore or, one of these big mega stores. But I'm not sure if that's changed now. I've not heard anything on it since.
David Shepherd says he has. Look,
yeah,
Shepherd says he has.
Yeah,
we need.
I think that's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, we need more shops. I mean, there was talk of like a little museum at one point as well, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Odeon as well, because isn't that up for sale or coming up for sale? So whether we look to purchase the whole thing, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, that's really the plan, isn't it? That he gets as much of as part of the deal. He gets the stadium and the land surrounding it. Sorry, and then he then starts to build the famous amphitheatre that I'm. Do you know what? If that amphitheatre gets built, I'll be the happiest man in the world. Chuffing amphitheatre at bloody Huddersfield Town. What's the world coming to? But anyway, conference centre, hotel, that type of stuff. So I think whatever comes up for sale around there, he'll snap it up. So I think that's part of the plan for the site. How quickly that happens or not, I don't know. I haven't been to the stadium for when you go and get stuff from the club shop, like we went to Kitman sale a couple of weeks ago, me and my lad. You come down to the far end by the bridge, don't you? Come across there. So I never thought to have a look at the. We did go hunting for players, but we didn't see anybody at that time. So I didn't have a look at the robot. Didn't think to. But yeah, I think as I understand it, the cinema's up for sale. So I would imagine that Kev will swoop in and grab hold of that. Of course, Davey owns the driving range, doesn't he? Yes, he owns all the bits of kit that we really want. Bless him. Got his OBE yesterday. I saw on social media.
Yes.
Whatever about him, he's done well for the community of Huddersfield. So, whether you like him as a businessman and support the sport that he loves, but congratulations to him. And sort of coming on to, while I remember it, congratulations to Emley yesterday on the way they staged the game. I thought they did a brilliant job, and I was really impressed. I haven't been to the ground since as we said on my social media, the 1983 West Yorkshire Schools Cup final that I played in, All Saints 2, St Bede's 1, and it was better. It was a better setup than Crawley, definitely than bloody Tamworth. But they're a bit of a scenario. Then they beat us as well, there, didn't they? But yeah, really, really impressed. It's just you feel from a little bit with having the cricket field over the other side in that. Where are they going to go there? Because while ever the cricket club exists, they're not going to be able to build a stand there, and it needs it. If only to block the bloody wind that comes across from that side of the ground. But yeah, really, really well run. I know the chairman Andrew Penton a little bit, so yeah, it's a really good setup. The staff were brilliant, really friendly. I didn't see any really long queues for bars and stuff. There probably were, but everybody seemed to be fed and watered particularly well. So yeah, hat off to them. Well done, Emley, yesterday.
Proper club, proper football club. Yeah, it was brilliant, and we'll get onto it in a bit. Yeah,
these non-league clubs, they've come a long way in the last few years now. The usual impression of a field full of potholes and an iron fence with a bloke leaning on it, smoking a woodbine, drinking a pint with his dog. It's not like that anymore. It's been professional. It's been professionalised, hasn't it? Even at 3 and 4 levels below professional football now, it's I didn't go, but you see the pictures. That the grass looked perfect. I mean, the pitch looked beautiful. So
looked it, but it's screwed Town players. They didn't. Town lads didn't know what to make of it because of the slope. And as they were warming up, there was they're doing this drill where they get it to Sorensen, and Sorensen whips it in, and he whipped one in, and it sort of started going down the hill, then carried on going down the hill, then a little bump went over somebody's foot, and I think it was Ruskin stood there going, you could see him going, what the am I doing here? How have I ended up playing on this thing here? But so they didn't get like Crown Green bowling. They didn't know where to go, finger or thumb. So they were a bit all over the place with pitch. So it looked great, but I still think there's one or two bits of it that could probably do with leveling out. But that's definitely the only criticism that I would throw at the Emley club. But apart from that, top draw, really, really good.
We've got a Lincoln fan waiting in here, guys. I think Jar Special says, just heads up on Rowan about his passing. Don't expect too much. Well, in my philosophy in life, mate, I expect nothing whatsoever. Like rock bottom expectation. And then anything that happens above that is a bonus. That's why I'm always happy. That's why I'm always smiling, because always expect the worst and hope for the best.
Compared to last year, most of our players just bowed it into touch.
They just flatted it into Almondbury, didn't they? Yeah.
If I had a human being as a result of it.
It can't be worse than last. Well, it can, but
it can.
Let's not. Yeah, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I mean. Yes. So, but we'll talk. Look, we'll talk about Emley later. Let's get back on track then. So, new home shirt, new home kit. Obviously, like I said before, commemorates the centenary of the thrice champions' achievement. I mean, first thing I'll say, it was launched with a brilliant animated video, which I really enjoyed. Again,
loved it.
You know, hats off to the club's media team for putting that out. I don't know who it was. Apologies that did the animation, but I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, anybody that's not seen it, I would recommend you go and watch it. It's only about 1.5 to 2 minutes long. It's not very long, but yeah, it's everything why we have pride in this football club and showing through the face of adversity what we went on to achieve and what we're hoping. We're hoping we can get some of that spirit back on the pitch. But here we go. So there we go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Peter O'Toole and Sholto Smith. Hats off to them. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
I really love. Sorry, Nick, to jump in, but I really love the touch where they put the roll of honour for the town players who lost their life in combat.
Yeah,
that was just like a proper classy little touch for me. So whoever came up with that, I thought that just absolutely loved that.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. Feathers McGraw video gave me goosebumps. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go on to the kit. It's blue and white stripes. Surprise, surprise. There's not much you can do with blue and white stripes, really. The blue stripe, the stripes are a bit wider. Light blue. The badge itself, as I said, is gold. The Hey Dude is gold. I think it looks all right. It's a football shirt. I'm not. But I was joking with the Virgin's comment. Obviously, I'm not. I'm only messing. But I don't get the outburst though. I don't get that you can get so angry and like over the top over a football kit. To me, it's fine. It does the job. It's Castor, so in terms of quality, we're not too sure. We've got sort of conflicting views from different clubs. I know Mansfield have left them recently, but in terms of how it looks, I think it looks perfectly fine. Gaz, I mean, do you have any sort of particular thoughts on it? We'll get to price in a minute, but
no, I thought the fact they went with the 3 stripes, the wider stripes, so it mirrors the thrice champion shirt made sense. I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been difficult to make, I guess, but nice if it would have had the lace neck collar to match that as well. That would have been a real touch, but I guess the cost of production for that would have been too high. I like the fact it ain't a glued on badge, so we've got a stitched on badge, which is much better. But we'll have to see. Everybody tells me the quality shite. I don't know anything. I don't really know. I've never bought any Castor stuff, so I guess we'll find out.
Andy, anything to add on the look of it?
I was surprised how much I liked it when I saw it actually on Athletic Men yesterday. My concern is for those of us who may have as opposed to the target market was a little bit, because I think there's a bit of the way that it seems to hang. I don't think it's going to be very flattering. So let's put it this way: I probably won't be buying the home shirt. But I'll be hoping there's a very dark away shirt that might disguise the overhang problem for those of us who are more rotund nature. The sponsor bit, like I said to you in our private communications channel, I wish they were called something else, because I'm not sure I like the words "Hey Dude" on a town shirt. But actually, it didn't look that bad from a distance. It looked all right. So I was surprised. But yeah, I think you have to be maybe a little bit fitter than we are to be able to carry it off in a stylish fashion. But yeah, we'll see how we go on that one.
If I don't see Sydney Sweeney in a town shirt, I'm going to be pissed off. Let's put it that way.
I don't even know who she is.
What?
I don't either. I just laughed because I guess
Am I gonna, if I Google Sydney Sweeney, am I going to get into trouble, Nick?
No, you're not going to get into trouble. She's an actress. She's on White Lotus and loads of.
I've watched White Lotus. Still couldn't tell you who she is, but
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, Sydney.
Dream on, Nick. He said, "Yeah, I know, mate. I know."
Yeah.
She's good out with Tom Brady, Nick. So she likes older men.
Well, she'd be a Birmingham fan, though, wouldn't she? If she's going out with Tom Brady.
She will. Yeah, she will. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
That's poured cold water on it, isn't it? Never mind. Never mind. And I tell you what else poured some cold water on it. 65 quid for the shirt. Now, if you've got a season ticket, you get 25 off, don't you? Is it 25% off? What do you reckon? Expensive? All right.
Well, it's going to be. Were they 55 quid last year for the at launch for the kit? So if that takes it down to, well, Martin Lewis next to me on here anyway. Martin Lewis will have worked it out how much it would cost. It's £48.75 actually.
Was it 60 quid? Is it?
Yeah,
65 notes, mate. Yeah,
65 quid. So 49 quid with your 25% discount. Will I buy one for me? Probably not. Will I end up buying my son? Probably all three. Probably yes. So they've got us, haven't they? Don't know about the quality. Looked all right. So yeah, there were plenty of people walking around. Well, plenty. There were about 5 or 6 walking around with training tops, Castore training tops, in the sort of the green, sort of the vivid green. They looked all right. There were only young ones walking around with them. Most of the training staff, yes, they were wearing the black version of the training kit, and I have to say I really like that. So if they do a 4XL version that can get my little laddie too, I might have a shirt. Might have one of them.
And bra, especially for you, Andy.
Yeah, with a bit of an uplift on it, that'll make it. That'll be good. Yeah, but they looked all right. So yeah, quality we don't know.
I was like Connor mentioned earlier. Actually, I got somebody to send me a picture. Was it you who sent me the picture of the keeper's kit, Andy, the bright orange keeper's kit?
That wasn't me that sent it, but yeah. I think they looked all right. Looked all right with the orange one.
Feathers McGraw says more chance of Sweeney Todd rocking up. Yeah, I think probably, mate. If people are asking for a big 2 up top, won't they? Well, she'd be able to bring that, mate. That's for sure. The junior full kit, I priced up a full kit, and junior's £93 if you get a shirt, shorts, and socks. And if I wanted to look a total prat and got a full kit as a grown man, I'd be 118 quid lighter. I mean, that's a lot of money for kids, though, isn't it? Like, a lot of kids want the full kit. 93 quid? Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's you've got to have deep pockets to be a Town fan, or any sort of football fan. You've got to have deep pockets. And I think that's, as well as being hit season ticket-wise, but a lot of other things are going to be monetised by the club. Because I think they've got to generate the revenue to be able to, because the PSR regulations mean that they can only spend 60% of generate on players. So if we want to be carrying on making the good signings that we are doing, I'm afraid we are the audience, we are the customers, we are the people that they're going to be targeting to pay out for it. And that's just, it's unfortunate, but that's the way of the world. It's no longer pay you £3 at Leeds Road and go up onto Big Terrace and watch, and that's the only money you put into the club. They're going to be wanting more from us as we go along. So that's the way that it is. We've got to make more money, as it says. It says, if we don't, what's the alternative? Is that we don't thrive, we don't survive, we don't progress.
Liquidate.
Liquidate. Relegate and liquidate. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's the spirit. You're right, though. We've got to. That's it. And if we want quality always sells. I say it all the time. If it's good quality, it's worth the money. The problem is if the kit falls apart in your hands after 2 washes and the team's shite and we're down near the bottom of the table, everyone's moaning, aren't they? If we're flying high, top 4 and the kit's decent quality, no one's complaining. So as long as we're getting value for money, I don't think anyone's bothered. And that seems to be the going rate for kits nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I personally think they're quite a lot of money, but it is what it is. And I don't think we're any different to anyone else, are they? They're no more expensive than anywhere else. So it is what it is. So, yeah, so that moves us on to, let's talk about Emley Town then. Andy, like I say, you were there, mate. So
I'm the correspondent.
That's it, mate. We're relying on you as our correspondent to relay to us in detail the systems and everything. Split it down into the but yeah, I mean, look, 60 minutes for first team, like in sort of divided into 30 minutes with swap overs, and then 30 minutes for B team at the end. Any idea, kind of? I mean, it's so early, mate, isn't it? But any idea of kind of formations or what we were trying to do?
Yeah, so it looked like 4-2-3-1 for the two 30 minutes where we had what you would call, majority first team players. That's what it looked like they were trying to do. The second 30 minutes was a bit more difficult because, like, if you know Emley, but there's the main stand on this side. There's the sort of their cow shed out towards the car park. We were right down the bottom end, where the sort of slope ends up. So it was difficult to see what was happening up the far end, but it looked like 4-2-3-1, Taylor up front, and then Ladapo would push on to him. Ladapo did all right. Didn't let anybody down. He got a bit of ironic cheering in the warm up from a couple of people, which was a bit not
we
again.
haven't started yet.
We haven't started yet, and then he was, and he was, hitting the target, and it was, oh fuck, come on, let's move on, let's leave the guy alone. It's not great that. So the first 30 minutes, who impressed me? Harness impressed me in that he was always looking to take a man on. He was more fluid than Ruscombe was. They were sort of the two wide players. There was Evans and Wiles. You missed an absolute sitter. You should have seen Killer's face. The text to me when Wiles misses a sitter. That was funny. But it was one of those that I think he didn't want to injure the keeper. It was one of them that you'd hope in a proper game he'd have taken the keeper out and scored, but he didn't. So Harnett would come inside and to be a bit more fluid. And a couple of times he tried to beat men both ways, which I like, and I think we've missed quite a bit. Evans, same as. Wiles, same as. Ruscombe provided the assist, but I got the feeling he was playing as a left winger almost, and he didn't really know what he was supposed to be doing. But if they're going to, develop him into that role, that's fine. I can't remember who was left back. It was Eccleston was at left back, and Sorensen got forward more than Eccleston did because obviously Ruscombe was doing that bit. Harness would come inside, and then Sorensen would go down the outside. Dion Charles ran around a lot and was very busy. Again, he had one shot that he blazed over top, which some things haven't changed, have they Dion? So again, didn't hit the target. I don't think Nichols had anything to do other than catch the ball occasionally time to time. Second half of the second 30 minutes, we need to talk about Ledson and Rowan, really. Very impressed with both of them, despite whatever this lad is that reckons it was this Andy Booth comment. You're hilarious, mate. I don't know who you are, but you're absolutely hilarious, Joe. Special thanks for your contribution today.
We're already getting beef,
very impressive.
The season hasn't started yet. We're already getting beef from opposition fans.
Opposition fans. So Ledson, very impressive. Always looking to pick a pass, looking to bring whoever it was that was around him. I can't remember who it was. Rowan, really very good with his left foot. So, and that's the difference, isn't it? Really, for me, we haven't had a natural, almost left-footed centre half for a while, and some of the shape on the ball that going out to the left wing, it was going, instead of going that way and being cut off by a defender, it's going that way, so it's going round the defenders. So it made a big difference to me. That very impressed by him. So and Ledson very good as well. Taylor looked fitter. I think did he have a header? Did he header against the bar? I don't know. can't remember. It was up far end, so we couldn't really see. Plus, we were just having a nice general chat. Really, the vibe was very much a social outing. There were lots of people there who I'd never seen at Town games before. 3 lads next to me weren't really Town fans and just turned up for the afternoon out and then an afternoon on the ale. Fair play to them. Can't blame them. And then so Feeney looked all right. Did well with the ball with his feet. I quite liked him. Joe Lowe didn't play, although he was there. Murray Wallace, I didn't see him there, but he's injured as well, and Balker's injured as well. But yeah, for me, the 4 signings that we saw were a definite upgrade on what we've let go. We just look like we need a bit more. I think I said that in my little video diary yesterday. Evans doesn't look to have hit the ground running, nor Wiles have to keep going. There's room for improvement. We definitely need something for. There was a few diagonals. Was it either Togo or Solomon who were playing sort of right centre half? They kept hitting long balls up to Taylor a la last season. Taylor wasn't getting anywhere near it, so I think we still need the centre forward for him to work off. I couldn't see any discernible patterns. You could see patterns in pre-season with Duff last season, but I couldn't really see that. And then when the B team came on, it just Emley worked. The lad Joe Clegg, who's got the most Yorkshire name of anybody that we'll ever have, Joe Clegg from Yorkshire, couldn't be from anywhere else. But you could see that, Town huffed and puffed. But there was always a gap on our left, their right, and this Joe Clegg, that this first goal, absolute belter. I mean, we were almost right behind it, even albeit about 70 yards behind it. And you could see when it left his foot, it was going to go top bins, as the kids say. Fair dues. Hurl looked a little bit out of in depth, goalkeeping wise, I thought, but then he was left exposed. The defence wasn't great, so I think those B team lads are going to have a bit of work to do to get anywhere near a first team squad, because absolutely Asher worked hard. He'd already done 30 minutes though in the previous game, so he worked really hard. So 60 minutes out of him. But you could see that he played a higher standard than the Emley lads, because he was he at loan on Torquay last year, somewhere like that. But he was the only one that looked to have anything about him, really, from what I saw. But it was a very, very young B team as well, by the looks of it. So again, to the friendly game. Don't read anything into it. Anybody who's getting upset about that result needs to have a word. They just need to chill your boats. It was a glorified practice match. There was hardly a tackle made at any point. It was just trying to get used to the physical contact and the running around and bouncing off each other, and it did exactly what we needed to do. Yes, it would have been great if we'd have won the game. Who cares? The result will last as long in the memory as if we lose 3-1 as we win 3-1. It means nothing. So, but it was a good day out, and like I said, congratulations to Emley on how they organised it and how they played. They showed some definite for the third 30 minutes. They definitely showed that they could play a bit of football. So I wouldn't be adverse to going back and watching them, and I think that's probably what they'd like, is that people go back and watch them when Town are away, or it's an evening. I think they play on Wednesdays rather than Tuesdays, so that because Town tend to play on Tuesdays. So yeah, it was good. I agree with Michael Bottomley. We still need some more, maybe 3 or 4 more. But by the sounds of Kev on Twitter today, there's work in progress. So we'll see how we go now.
I love Kev's tweets. I'm fuming, mate. I'm fuming. Winning's a habit. We should be looking to crush these sides, mate. We shouldn't be losing to likes of them, like. I think I don't give a toss what the results pre-season, because do you know what I was most pleased with out of all? We didn't get any injuries. That's the first thing I look for. That's all I care about in pre-season, because like you say, at this stage it's about getting minutes in the legs, getting the fitness up, and it looks like some of the players have come back looking a little bit fitter as well. Joe Taylor in particular and Herbie Kane slimmed down a little bit. So just to get them out there, doing a bit of running, getting back in the swing of it, not getting any injuries, I'm more than happy. Guys, I mean, a couple of people have asked about players coming in, but I'm just any thoughts from you, mate, at this point on the game, or?
No, I'm with you. I obviously didn't go. I'm probably going to go to the Barrow game at home, I think. I'll probably go to the Burnley game, so I get a chance to see him before the season starts. But I mean, it's pre-season before pre-season. Even it wasn't. You know what I mean? What they've done 3 or 4 days training, so it was never going to be full throttle, blood and thunder football, was it? So you're never going to learn much. They'll probably learn a bit more when they go away to Austria. I would imagine that's where he really will start to have them playing in the shape, and you'll start to get a sniff of probably what the starting lineup looks like, or his preferred starting 11s look like. But I think until probably the Burnley game, I'm not sure we'll have a feel for who's going to be playing. But I still don't know. But even with all the feedback we had, I still don't know what formation Lee Grant wants to play yet. Nobody seems to have asked him. So I guess you'll find out a bit more in Austria.
My guess it'll be 4-2-3-1 because they played a lot of that at Ipswich. It looks like they shaped up like that yesterday, and I think the players we've got probably suit that the most. And it wouldn't surprise me. But then he did say he's going to chop and change things depending on the opposition as well. He said they're not going to be rigid just to one formation. I think we need wingers though if we are going to be flexible, and we're very short, aren't we, at the moment? So let's talk about, just to round things off, about players coming in, because people are asking questions. And Paul K asked earlier, what's happening with Owen Goodman, first of all. Now, there was a lot of talk of him coming in. A few journalists, reliable journalists, put in social media posts out saying he were ready to sign a loan deal. We've not seen anything. Do you think it's pretty much done and dusted, that, or have we hit a glitch? Just to reference Kevin's ex-posts, are we? I mean, it'd be nice to see. So, I mean, he's by all accounts he's a decent keeper. Did very well for Wimbledon, certainly last season. I wouldn't mind seeing him, and I don't know if Nichols will be going, but I'm surprised it's taken this long, because normally it's done and dusted.
He's not appeared anywhere else though, Nick, so that's encouraging. Often when you missed out and they suddenly appear for a roll call at another club. That's not happened. I did wonder whether the hitch was actually Nichols going out rather than him coming in. I did wonder if that was part of that. I think, as I said last time we spoke, I do think we need to offload a couple now before they bring any more bodies in. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was the hold up, that it was an exit rather than an incoming. And I was thinking about this the other day. I think my only worry will be you let Nichols go, bring that young lad in. We've then got 2 really young keepers and then a backup who's an academy keeper. That also is a bit of a worry. If the going gets tough and it gets a bit sticky, you've got 2 young lads you've got to rely on. But yeah, and you're right about the winger thing. I know he's played Ruskin by the sound on the left-hand side from what you said, Andy. But I thought, the bloke's made a balls load, and I'm not convinced he's a winger. So we definitely need some more width if that's the way he's going to play.
I think Miller would be quite good, wouldn't he, on that side, and Harness can play on the other side. But as I say, we don't know if Harness is going to come in more central, and we just don't. It's putting, square pegs round holes again. It's kind of bit patchwork, isn't it? Rather than getting specific players for specific positions, it'd be nice to get at least a couple of wingers, proper wingers in there.
Yeah, I think we needed it. Miller did well, actually, thinking about it, because he was in the second 30. He did well. He linked up quite well with Ladapo down that left-hand side, and most of the balls from Rowan were out to Miller for him to come in, or he didn't really try and beat men around the outside, but he got inside. I think there's a few comments about him waiting Goodman signing a deal at Palace, and obviously I'd heard that as well. There's another one that I think I can see on the stream, but I can't see on our bit here, about Goodman was at Canalside on Thursday, lunching the canteen before having his medical. So I don't know if you can see that on the screen, bottom right. Or whether I
can't see it on here, mate.
Yeah, there's something I can see there. That
in the little window.
I'd heard that he was there, the little window at the bottom. Maybe it's been deleted. I don't know. It's from somebody on X, Darren Herbert on X. But we do need. I think it just needs a bit of refreshment, and I think we need something up front for us to hold on to. Thanks, Daz. Yeah, it's an X comment. Something's been put on X.
There's still a lot of work to do, I think. I wouldn't mind seeing another defender, to be honest, because Bolker, I don't know how long he's going to be injured for, and he'll most likely be injured again. Murray Wallace is injured. I mean, we haven't got going yet, and the rest of the defence look very young, don't they? We don't know if Spencer's going to be here, so do we need another right back coming in? I think we need another central midfielder that can pick passes out, create more. 2 wingers and a big striker. Well, that's a lot of players. It's a lot of players to get in, isn't it? Considering who we've already brought in.
That's why it's inevitable. I think that people are gonna go. I'm pretty certain that Lee Nichols will go. Nothing that I don't know anything. I'm just surmising it, and I think that we'll be lucky to cash in on Brody Spencer, because I think we need to get that money so that we can reinvest it. That's part of the revenue, isn't it? So we're gonna have to sell people to have money to be able to spend on new players. The money we've got from Sober will make a difference, but again, they're all paid over stages, aren't they? So are we still getting the Rhodes money? Are we still getting paid for Carl Grant? I don't know, but I think we will have to trim that squad, and we'll have to sell some decent players to make some money back so we can reinvest it. I think we'll still be going throughout the window. I'm going to Austria for the full tour, taking my lad and his best mate, who's a Barnsley fan. But please don't ask me for any input on the games, because if it's anything last time, I'll be absolutely blathered. So
it'll be more fun then, Andy. That's what we want. We want you pissed up, shouting, going berserk because we've gone 1-0 down to some team that nobody's heard of. That's what we want to see, mate.
Well, I can't wait to get back to the Kaiser Winkel Arena again. That's a great footballing place. But yeah, I'll do my best. But I think Killer's coming as well. But I don't think he's going to come for a week. He'll get one of the games. So get him for one of the games and get me for another one. But can't wait. If anybody's out there thinking about going, don't think, go. I know, Gaz, you're potentially. Are you still in a situation where Connor's not sure about whether he's coming or not?
Well, it depends on what happens with his child.
With child,
yeah. You can fly to Munich cheap, can't you?
Yeah.
It's not really to Munich.
So, and then you can get a quick train down from Munich Ost to Virgil, which is where most town fans are. So it's a belting trip. Can't wait.
Definitely. Rivethead people saying bring Naki Wells back. He's 36? He's not the tallest. Probably lost his pace a bit. It's a no from me, but I'm all for some experience in the side, but I don't think that's really what we need right now up there.
No.
Mark Harrison, 2 more months left in the window. A lot of time, though, isn't there? There is a lot of time, but you want to see him. You don't want to be dragging out till end of window. You want the majority in, and ideally you want as many in around now, really, so you can get a full pre-season in them. But it doesn't always work like that, does it? And I have to say, like, your better players more sought after. It does take time, doesn't it? It takes time, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't think. Is there anything else you want us to talk about, guys, before we wrap up? It's a little bit shorter, this one, but I'll give you a minute just to see if there's any other questions you want to ask or else you want to talk about. But I think that's it really for now. I'm very jealous about Austria. I would love to go, but I've got work. So I shall be sat here miserable as sin, thinking of you guys on the beers, enjoying.
The question for me is that we haven't answered this question. What is that? Apart from a T-shirt with the words Northern Football on it, which I understand that people will say. Have we defined what Northern Football is yet? Because yesterday looked nothing. There were no identity to it, and I wouldn't expect there to be. But what do we think Northern football is? Because I got a fair few comments. I was wearing I've got a blue one and a white one of those, and I got a fair few. Oh, that's a good T-shirt at Emley yesterday. So people like the phrase, but do we know what it is? Because I'm not sure we do.
It was Joe Clegg trotting on him, mate. That's proper Northern football.
That's
Northern name, Northern footballer, mate. That's what it. I don't know. I've absolutely no idea. I've got to be honest. Just kick out that moves and hoof it long. That would probably what. Get it forward. Get it forward quick and kick out the moves. That's probably what's stuck in. Yeah. Lots of endeavour, maybe not the quality, but lots of effort. And I think that's probably that's all. Yeah, that's all we want in it. We just want the players to care, really. That's what it boils down to. We want them to care. We want them to give 100% every game, whether they win or lose. So we can go away and say, you know what, we've watched a decent game there and they've given a well-fit shirt. And I think if we can say that, we can't really have much complaints, can we? Last season, we're just shocking. Second half of the season.
I think there's one thing that I've got a slight criticism of the club at this point in time, is that we've heard from Lee Grant in his first interview, but we haven't heard anything since. So yes, I guess that he's a busy man and he's going off and he's doing his work and stuff. I think there's still that lack of connection. But people saying we're getting excited about what's going on at the club. I wouldn't say I'm excited. I'm impressed so far with the changes that I've seen made, but I still think there's a massive lack of connection between the players and the fans. I mean, there were about 1,900 there yesterday. And you see all the town players signing autographs and doing the high fives as they're going round. But I think there needs to be more effort made to get a connection with the supporter base, because at the end of last season, we all saw the you're not fit to wear the shirt, and there's still a fair few of those not fit to wear the shirt as the crowd announced last season that are still there. So we still need to build that connection. And so I think there's more work to be done. And that's not being, I suppose it isn't being critical. I think then they need to find some mechanism, some way of, I don't know anything more about Lee Grant other than what, a mate of mine used to play at Sheffield Wednesday and knows him and says he's a top bloke. I want to hear more from him about what his plans are, what he intends to do, what he needs from us. There's no connection. Like Wagner had the cowshed law scarf in his office, just little touches like that. I think that's missing at the minute. And yes, it's a busy time, so I appreciate that. But if the club don't make that effort, the fans possibly won't. If we're winning, then it gets much easier, obviously. But I think they've got to start to try and make things happen. So yeah, Stephen Shepherd, nice to see that was going on. And I would expect that's a bare minimum that for me. That's what I would expect any representative of the football club that I support to do. So I think we need more. If you're going to expect us to pay more, lads, we need more. It's not a one-way street. So give us a bit more, please.
JR special. We've won them round. Decent chat, realistic debate. I mean, maybe even won them round enough to convert to the Mighty Terriers. But then Feathers McGraw's lost it again, saying football. Not the football's pinching players. Well, maybe not. But no, thanks. I appreciate them comments. That's brilliant. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Andy. It was awful. It was awful. That second half of last season were pathetic. Not even in terms of results, but in terms of the fact that the team just did not perform to the best of their ability. You don't go from unbeaten in 16, top 4, all the way through the season to suddenly dive bombing and winning. What was it? 2 games in 14 or something ridiculous like that. We had injuries, but you could just see in the body language the lack of effort, the lack of communication, the angst towards the fans. It was shocking, and that doesn't just disappear. It doesn't just evaporate overnight, does it? It's up to them to win the fans over, and it's key how they start. If Grant loses his first 4 games, then we're in serious trouble, aren't we? Win the first 3 or 4. And everyone's smiling. It's all roses again. We're going up. All this, and you can build off that. You can build momentum off that. I hope for their sake they do, because I think we deserve it. I think we deserve a bit of fortune. It might take a bit of luck, but I just hope we deserve a bit of positivity, don't we? After the last few seasons, I think.
We're due
We
it.
do,
We're due
we've
it.
got a really tough start though, Nick, and that's my worry. You look at that first month, and there's no easy games in that. It gets easier after that. But Leyton Orient, of all people, Leyton Orient at home, and then Reading away.
Yeah,
yeah. Had two really tough starts out there.
But if we win them two, we'll be like, wow,
fine,
we thought, It's so difficult, isn't it? It's so difficult to gauge, because even the best teams early in the season sometimes stutter a bit to define the feat. You never really know, do you? And we've got to be on it. And that's why I think if we can get majority of these players in for a full pre-season, get them bonding, gelling in Austria, getting the formation sorted, the tactics worked out for Burnley, and then getting straight in against Orient, getting in the faces like we did under Wagner with Brentford. We lost 5-1 to them. End of that last season, and then we come and beat them 2-1, don't we? So, and that was a big. Suddenly, all the fans were like, "Wow, this season's going to be different." We got battered by these, and now suddenly we're beating them. And if we can do that again, we can have the same kind of season, can't we? Go and lose 4-0 or something fucking stupid like that, and we're all back to being miserable sods again, aren't we? But I can't take it. I can't take another season of that again. We've got to. We try and be happy, don't we? We try and bring as much humour as possible, but it wasn't easy last season. So let's hope we've got something. Paul. If we can't beat Emley, what chance do we have in League One? Let's keep that positivity going, lads. And
I'll tell you what, just to counter Paul's point, Town are an absolute solid third favourite for promotion across every bookmaker. And there ain't no poor bookmakers, is there? So, they know what those books generally know what they're talking about. 9 times out of 10, they get it right, don't they? So, and we're behind Luton and Cardiff, who also, having been relegated, have the potential to capitulate as we did. So, I think it's early days. We're not going to know until they get playing, are they? But, we all said that last year that the squad and some of those that are left behind, not terrible footballers. They're good footballers for this standard. They just need to be in the right place mentally and to be put into the right shape. How many times do we complain about a lack of structure and a lack of a plan? And if that's all Lee Grant brings, we're going to be a damn sight closer than we were last year. So I don't think it's time to worry just yet, is it?
Nah, not at all. We'll give it a couple of games before we go meltdown.
Yeah. When we don't beat Reading 8-0, I'll be fucking banging it down.
Woody says Kevin's heart's in the right place with backing and transfers. Nobody can sit here and say that he hasn't put his hand in his pocket for the club and he hasn't backed whoever manager's been in. He's always done that. It's just questionable whether he's done it in the right way or he's made the right decisions. And I think he himself would admit that he's made mistakes along the way. But, don't we all? Let's just hope that he can learn from them. And I don't think any of us looking at these signings would say they're awful. I can't think of a signing we brought in that we couldn't justify. So, having said that, when we go on a 3 or 4 losing run, we can then slate the recruitment team for bringing them in. But at the moment, we can confidently say they're decent. I don't know what's happened to Andy. He's dropped off.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
he's
here.
still
Can
there.
you hear me?
He's still there.
The camera's going some sods. Sorry, apologies. You could probably better off not looking at me, to be fair. So, but I am still here.
Yeah, it's better for all of us, mate, to be fair.
It is, yeah.
Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should put us all blanked and then that'd be better for everyone. But anyway, right. I think we'll leave it there, guys. It's he's gone completely. Oh, well. I think we'll take that as a sign, Gaz, that the podcasting gods have spoken. And we'll call it a day. But thank you so much, everyone. It's great, to have all this engagement, and that's what it is. This Sunday Social. I know we've rebranded it and renamed it, but it's all about you guys and the interaction and it's about us all getting together and having just a chat about town, isn't it? So yeah, thank you so much for the comments. If you've liked it, please subscribe to the YouTube and Spotify if you haven't already, and give us a listen, give us a like, and share with your friends if you think any of them would be interested. It really helps us out. And yeah, thank you so much to Andy and Gaz, particularly Andy, who's given us all the lowdown on yesterday, seeing as we couldn't make it. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, guys, yeah, we're going to try and do some more videos like that. What we did from you, Andy, Emily, we're going to try and do some more of those, and we'll try and do some with any new signings that come in. But we'll be doing this this Sunday social every Sunday, hopefully. So yeah, so we're going to have a nice mix this season of different content for you. So
there'll definitely be some. There'll be some content from Austria for definite. I don't know what it will be. A bit of a behind the scenes at the if there's an event, they're planning on having an event for us, aren't they? So we might have a little wander at that. There might be some varying stages of drunkenness from before the game to the end of the game, and I imagine the review at the end of the game won't make much sense if I'm doing it if I've had 6 pots. But yeah, we'll give you some more content from Virgil and Cosson and those beautiful places. So yeah, we'll get some stuff for you.
Brilliant. Right, guys, thanks for listening, and yeah, we'll see you all next time. Up the town.
Up the town.